Huge breaking news is AH has been fired by L'Oreal. She has been removed as an ambassador. This is brand new, just happening news, with the newest website update showcasing her removal. And according to discussions and unsealed court documents, her contract had been paused. And it was the month they were going to decide whether or not they were going to keep her on. And guess what? They decided that they weren't. Now, the firing, it is big news too. And you have to wonder if AH and her PR team, they actually caused this firing. I mean, remember, they've gone after the brand over and over again. They targeted Helen Mirren back May 2023 at Cannes. You know they got to get sick of all of that noise there. You and I, though, we're going to talk about that and much, much more. Oh, fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. All right, so hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. Now, this firing is brand new bombshell news. I mean, we're talking about news that broke in the last hour with AH getting ghosted off the L'Oreal website. This is L'OrealParisUSA.com. You can see this is their brand ambassador page. They note everyone that's here. You can see all of the names that are included. And AH was one of the names that was actually here. She had been here for quite some time. In fact, they were supposed to make a decision on whether or not she would be removed. Well, when you walk down through it, you'll notice it looks like they did indeed make that decision. And that decision is probably a very smart move for a brand that has been under siege. And that siege, it's coming from AH. It's coming from her PR team and the people that support her. See, in the aftermath of the JD versus AH trial, we ended up finding out that L'Oreal was very much up in the air about what they were going to do with AH and her contract. In fact, there were some discussions you and I weren't privy to at first. Listen to this. This is talking about what happened if they were going to bring her in right away. And then there was a discussion about how it was basically paused and she was put on probation. Quote, question, and what did Katie tell you about the L'Oreal contract? Answer, that they had made the contract, that they really liked AH, they were very supportive of her, but here's where the but comes in. They weren't going to be able to use her as much as they wanted to. And we'll find out in just a moment how much they were actually able to use her, and they were still paying her quite a bit of money. They were, I believe, going to renew the option, but they were going to postpone, but they weren't going to raise any money on the option or future contracts until after the trial and all the publicity about the current trial subsided. So what they thought at first, I imagine, was that everything would fade away. AH and the media, they promised that there would be a victory for AH. That would be a big point that all of this it hinged on, and that's not the way it went. There was no public win, there was no judicial win, and the brand, they were really confused, and you could tell. Here's another statement. AH's endorsement opportunities have also nearly come to a standstill. In the April of 2018, between the release of Justice League and Aquaman, AH signed an endorsement deal with L'Oreal for $1.5 million for a period of 2 years with the option to renew for an additional year. Now, although L'Oreal had the right to utilize AH's services for 20 days, so during all of that time, she's not on call all the time. They can decide to send her to a show. They can actually do a shoot, whatever they want to for 20 days maximum. It has only utilized AH for a few days since the contract was signed. L'Oreal has received significant pushback and negative commentary on social media from their community. See, they saw this blowback not as just noise out there, but noise that was coming in from a customer base driven by JD's defamatory statements. They always have to blame it on somebody, right? With social media users stating that they won't use L'Oreal products if AH is the L'Oreal spokesperson. It is essentially impossible for the company to utilize her in any of their marketing campaigns. As a result, AH was unable to renegotiate a new contract, which they say is standard. Instead, they ended up adding an extension. It would be the exact same terms. Poor her, by the way, right? I mean, she got an extension. Although it was unpaid, you'd still be talking about $1.5 million for 20 days of your time. But she was put on unpaid probation until May 2022. And this stuff, apparently, it was extended out. They were still making decisions. And that decision, it came in today. That's right. They decided today to pull her off the website. Now, obviously, L'Oreal, they're going to make the right business decision for them. But this, I think, has been guided by AH, by AH's PR team, and by the people that support AH. Why? Because they target L'Oreal relentlessly. They've gone after the brand. They go after it negatively, or they use hashtags that end up impacting their money. And they bring the brand up and the ambassadors in ways that, well, they're brand damaging as well. I mean, if you look at the headlines from May, for example, this is when they're thinking about whether or not this is going to end up coming up. They started saying that Helen Mirren, she was sending secret messages to AH. How was she doing that? By holding up a hashtag worth it sign. They were saying that's AH's hashtag. No, that is L'Oreal's hashtag. AH, her PR, and all of those folks, they tried to commandeer it. And when they did, you had Helen Mirren actually have to come out and do damage control. This brought up L'Oreal. You can see, I am a L'Oreal ambassador. They are a sponsor of the festival, and quite truthfully, I picked up a fan because it was hot, because you're worth it is the official L'Oreal Paris slogan. So you have that come up. You have the brand brought into the crosshairs. AH ends up brought up, and so much more. This, like I say, this is damaging and beyond. And L'Oreal, they ended up canning her because of it. I mean, that is crazy. But anyway, let me know what you think about this. And as always, appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff work. Thank you. Can't say that enough. Want to help out the channel? Well, links are in the description. And again, thank you. Appreciate you. See ya.